Straight people are getting too comfortable. I said what I said. Some things are not yours to talk about, joke about, or say. And you should go back to being deathly afraid of offending people.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Clarkson, the show where I react to videos online because I can never shut the hell up. As you guys know, I've got a little scruff, if you can see it. Can you see it in the camera? Yeah, I'm on Accutane, and every time I shave, my skin gets irritated, so I'm just kind of letting it grow a bit. It's kind of a pathetic beard, but we're dealing with it. Today, we've got a video I saw online. I should have done a reaction video on TikTok when I first saw it because I feel like I kind of missed the train on this video. It went viral like a week ago, and people lost interest in it, but I feel like it deserves to be talked about a little bit more. So let's just go ahead and roll the clip.
Straight people are getting too comfortable. I said what I said. Some things are not yours to talk about, joke about, or say. And you should go back to being deathly afraid of offending people.
Are straight people getting too comfortable, honey, or are LGBT people getting too sensitive?
If you know a trans woman who is a performer, do not say bravo after a performance. Just don't do it. It's very simple. Brava, good job.
If you're cis and you won't date trans folks, you're transphobe.
So I ask yet again, are straight people getting too comfortable, or are LGBT people getting too sensitive? I'll let you guys be the judge on what you think there. The question has been answered, at least in my opinion. LGBT people got a little bit of cultural power and used it to victimize ourselves and to be overly sensitive. So now we think we have control over straight people just because we are oppressed, right? And I say oppressed very lightly because that's a whole separate discussion. I say it lightly. Because most of the time people are oppressing themselves through lack mentalities, but that's here nor there. So we got a bit of cultural power, and now we're getting mad that the pendulum is swinging back. But that's because a lot of people don't have any foresight, especially activists. This is why you see activists blocking a bunch of celebrities online and then thinking it's going to make them talk about politics more, not even realizing that 5 years down the line, all the people who want them to talk about politics aren't going to be seeing their content. The trash is taking itself out. So now these celebrities don't have to talk about politics at all because the people who still follow them don't give a to talk about it. So that's the foresight that a lot of activists and people who are just perpetually offended lack. What's happened is that we thought we could police straight people because we were a minority. We thought, oh, well, we're oppressed. Bad things happen to people like me, so you're not allowed to act a certain way. And we all know, we're all existing in the culture. We know that 4 years ago, you could not say the same things that you can say now because the pendulum swung back because everybody was so sensitive that we all got tired of it, myself included. I just don't understand why people act shocked when more and more straight people are coming out and saying really hurtful things to LGBT people when we can sit here and talk shit on straight people all the time. Let's just flip the script here, okay? Let's flip the script and say that a straight person got online and said, gay people are getting too comfortable. They need to go back into the closet. Right. So when the shoe is on the other foot, we are applying different standards to people based off of their oppressive status. I don't think that's right because I believe in a future of equality. I have foresight. If you hold people to different standards based off of race or sex or sexuality, years down the line, that's going to plant the seed of not just division, but inequality of those groups. We have the same problem with DEI. When you give preference to people of color when it comes to jobs, and the goal is not to create a society based off of merit. The problem is that, yes, that might rectify some issues right now, but 40 years down the line, when these policies have been in place and have been in practice for years on years on years, it's going to create the disparity we were trying to fix just reversed. I believe in holding everybody to the same standard regardless of race, sexuality, or sex. Which means I don't like when, I don't know if this girl's a lesbian, I don't like when gay people get online and say, oh, straight people this, straight people that, and then want to pretend like if somebody said the same thing about gay people, they wouldn't be literally freaking out and screaming at the top of their lungs. If you want people to walk on eggshells, you also have to walk on eggshells. Something that always bothers me as well, and it just shows that these people are weak. They're weak because they want to live in a delusional bubble where they can't be offended. But me, personally, I want people to show their hand. I want to see the people who I don't need in my life. I want to see the people who are going to call me an F slur. I want to see the people who have a problem with the fact that I'm gay. Please show yourself to me because then I know who I don't need to be friends with. I know who I don't need to do business with. And there are a lot of people that I don't do business with for that reason because they're very vocal about it. And I appreciate that because I would not want to enter into any contracts, in any relationships with somebody who literally thinks an integral part of who I am is wrong. So why is it that we want people, it's like you guys would rather live in a delusional bubble where everyone just validates each other than actually see the truth. No one values truth anymore because everybody puts their feelings over it. And it's really frustrating. It's really frustrating. And my last point that I want to make before I finish this little episode is that I'm sure this creator isn't calling out the biological females who are extremely comfortable calling Republican gay men the F slur. The biological females who are extremely comfortable telling gay men that they are aphobic because they don't want to insert their genitals into female genitalia. We just saw a biological male call lesbians aphobic because they don't want to sleep with that biological male. I'm sure this creator isn't talking about those people because they are straight. Because sexuality is based off of sex. So are those the straight people that are getting too comfortable? Because I think so. The ones who want to be labeled as gay men, when in fact they are just trans and they have female genitalia and they're mad when gay men don't want to sleep with them. Or vice versa. Lesbians. Y'all don't want to talk about that, do you? Because the people in my comment section, the majority of the ones that are calling me slurs in my DMs telling me to KMS and that they hope that disgusting things happen to me, it's not gay men. So unless those are the straight people you want to talk about, because biology does matter in this conversation, I want to see her do a follow-up and see how she feels about that. Because most of the time, those people don't even get called out because they're under a protective status. I believe all trans people should have rights. So before you guys call me some type of phobic, which I don't care anymore if you call me it, whatever, I don't care. But I just have to say that because the minute I bring up that subset of people, it automatically gets you labeled as some type of phobic. As if they're above any type of fucking criticism. Anyways, I know all trans people are not crazy. I know that the actions of a few are not reflective of an entire group of people. But that just because that's the case, that doesn't mean that the actions of those few shouldn't be called out. And we have to have these conversations. We have to. You can't sit here and be offended for the rest of your life because you're going to get nothing done. We have to talk about the fact that biological women who transition are now being mad that gay men aren't attracted to them. Because what does it mean to be gay? It means you're attracted to the same sex. So the fact that it's like that we're not supposed to talk about this and that I'm supposed to be walking on eggshells, which I am because obviously, it's online and because algorithms and things of that nature, the fact that I have to walk on eggshells to talk about this is quite literally insane. So long story short, I don't think straight people are getting too comfortable. I think LGBT people are too damn sensitive. And it's as simple as that. Now, we've gotten to the point where I'm going to read one of your questions and reviews from Apple Podcasts. So if you guys ever want to ask me any questions, I know a lot of people DM me questions on Instagram and I can't respond to them. I can't keep up with them. But if you guys want to ask me any questions, you can do so by rating 5 stars in Apple Podcasts because I see all of these, I check them, and there's not as many, so it's easier for me to keep up with. But this one comes from Sloth Wizard. Hey Clarkson, I've absolutely loved hearing your perspectives on the current social environment in the United States. As a 20-year-old gay man that is politically moderate, I find it difficult to have dialogue with other gay men about current issues because most are incredibly lived out. I don't know if I can ask, but would you be all right discussing your views on religion? I grew up in a very Christian household, so I like to hear others' perspectives on religion as it relates to society. Currently, I'm going through a transition right now between paganism and Christianity, which is difficult because there's pros and cons to both. Anyway, I'm psyched that you're going to read this. I'm a big fan and just know that your work is very much appreciated. Wishing you a fantastic summer, Clarkson. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I will absolutely talk about that. And I'm probably going to do a whole podcast episode on this. I just have to find a video to react to and then, use that as the basis for the episode. I'm not sure if you're transitioning from Christianity to paganism or vice versa, but I don't think that really matters. I think religion is very important. I kind of define myself more as agnostic because when I look at religion, I think of religion as the language of which God speaks. But with that being said, it's also possible for people to know more than one language. I have trust issues when it comes to authority. I don't believe that any religion has all the right answers because it was written by man. So I think that there are a lot of pros and cons to every religion, and it's important that you use your own discernment in whatever you choose to practice. But at the end of the day, I think religion is a fundamental piece of society, and everybody should find spiritual meaning and spiritual purpose because at the end of the day, it makes you a better human being. And yeah, there's really no denying the existence of God, point blank. And I know that starts to lead into conversations where they can't necessarily be proven by a statistic or proven by a study, but that's just my belief and that's my faith. But I also wholeheartedly believe and understand the reality of human nature and human beings, and anybody who is writing God's word through their own filter is inevitably going to have flaws in it because human beings are inherently flawed. So I do think there's issues with some religions, as with anything in the world. There's always going to be pros and cons to everything, but it is very important to make sure that you find some sort of spiritual purpose and faith in this life, because life will be very challenging if you don't. So yeah, that's how I view religion. I'm sure I'll do an episode on it a little bit later on once a video comes across that I want to react to. But I appreciate you guys joining this episode today. If you liked it, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and listen on Apple Podcast. And I will talk to you guys next week.